Hello, everyone. Just to make it very clear, this is my opinion, and if you do, in fact, disagree with me, I am very sorry about that. I'm still the same person you've probably seen play video games and such, and politics is not everything to me. It's just talking about news and such. Certain topics can come up, so if I do trigger you, this is a trigger warning. So enjoy. All right, so a bit of a fuck up here, but yeah, we should have probably, because we were talking about union, transgenders, gas. It sucks. We did a podcast without recording.
Yeah, we kind of did.
We didn't record anything, that's my bad. I was like, let's just chill out. But Alexis did tell me, she's like, you're gonna go there and do a podcast. I mean, I brought the equipment. I just didn't, and it's just a MacBook, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, do I really want to do this? But yeah, I did. And it was once we were already through and towards the end, I was like, yeah, I should have just recorded that shit.
Well, nice. It's all good.
Yeah, so why don't we talk about transgenders?
Yeah,
which we already spoke about it a little bit.
We spoke about it, but just to reiterate our point and where we're going off of.
This is no offense to anyone, for starters. We're just talking. And yeah, if it does offend you, click away. Click somewhere else.
Yeah, if
and it's more touchy if you're against transgenders than you are. And I feel like since at least if this was just to hit the Californian audience, they'd be okay with it. Because California's like, yeah, go ahead and be a transgender. It's cool. But it's other places where they don't want that shit.
Yeah. But regardless, I guess, trigger warning.
Trigger warning, there you go.
That's what people do these days. So trying to be mindful of all that stuff.
So I don't know the name of the person. I don't know when it happened, what month it was, or what country it was from. But
I can pull it up.
Where's your phone at?
Yeah, it's over here.
So this transgender won a swimming competition, and a lot of people are not really down or okay with that because, I mean, I don't want to just say it bluntly, but it seems like they're just transgender haters. And I could kind of, it's weird to say, I understand. More like, I can see their perspective, but it's also the perspective of who cares. And Alexis also has his perspective. Her and I spoke about it recently. Obviously, you can't have transgenders their own. You can't segregate them and just be like, you know what, we'll just make a entirely different league of competitions of swimming and basketball and anything like that, because it's like, well, then you're just grouping them up together. You're not a male, you're not a female, you are a transgender, and it just doesn't really make sense. So of course, if you're going to transition to a woman,
yeah. So I'm gonna read this real quick. So this is just two little quick paragraphs. So for the competitor who stormed to victory, dashing the hopes of every girl in the pool that day, was the 22-year-old transgender athlete, Lea Thomas. Lea is the first openly transgender athlete to win America's top trophy in university sports, powered home a full second and a half ahead of Olympian Emma Weyant in the 500-yard freestyle at the NCAA, so National College Athletic Association's Women's Championship in Atlanta. You can see the picture here. Lea Thomas is on the left. She's 6'1". She's pretty tall.
There's some stretch there, yeah.
So, yeah.
So for sure the height is very different than your average female. Because I think they're more like of a 5'7" to 5'9" kind of range.
Yeah, for the most part.
What country was that in?
This was here in the U.S. This the actual official swimming the competition was held in Atlanta.
Okay. Georgia? Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure. I always say
ATL.
Yeah, ATL.
But yeah, so that's that. I know, funny enough, we were talking about it because I was talking about this at work. One of my coworkers, my friend, somebody I've known for a very long time, we were having this discussion. And again, trigger warning for if you are a transphobe, fuck you. And if you're a transgender person and this affects you, then sorry. But I'm just going to talk about it and say what our conversation was real quick. But basically, he brought it up. He said, hey, did you hear about this trans woman winning this swimming athlete? And I had heard the story, and I've been kind of looking up into it. Not too much, but I heard bits and pieces over the last couple of days prior to, I think this is a Thursday. No, I think this is Wednesday or Friday. I forget. It was not too long ago, a few days ago. Anyways, so he's like, I don't think men should compete in women's sports.
Yeah.
And I told him, okay, point at the men that are who are competing. He's like, oh, what this person? I'm like, that person is a trans woman. She transitioned. There's requirements to compete in this thing. So I don't know where these fucking men that you're talking about are. People, because when you go back 10, 15 years and you look at the landscape in like the LGBT community, just in society overall, transgendered people weren't much of a hot topic at the time. Funny enough, it was just gay. No, just like it was already like it was very heavily anti-gay. There, people were fighting for gay rights.
They were fighting for rights, yeah.
But that was a hot topic. Now it's a little bit weirder to be anti-gay. It's still very popular within like the conservative Bible Belt and all of that. But now you fast forward again 15 years now to our time, and now the biggest thing within the LGBT movement is fighting for transgendered rights. So there's a lot of people now who are very openly coming out and transitioning. Me personally, again, I was young. I wasn't really into checking this stuff. I was still a fucking kid. So
Yeah.
I was 10? 15 years ago? I was 10. So,
Oh, shit.
yeah, I know, it's weird. So, yeah. All of that stuff, the political landscape wasn't really at the forefront of shit I was thinking about.
It wasn't until 12, right? 12 or 13 when Obama made it legal for gays to marry? Was that? He did that? I think he did, right?
It did definitely start happening under
Obama's administration.
I think towards the beginning of his administration, his first term, I think like a state or two passed it, and by the end of his administration, it was legal in all 50 states.
Nice.
So anywhere in the U.S., it's kind of weird thinking about. There was a time where gay people, you couldn't get married if you're a man, you loved a man. If you're a woman, you loved a woman. You could not get married in the States.
Even that what's that thing called where you just date someone for like 7 years or some shit? It's oh fuck, I wish I had some sort of technological device in front of me. It's where it's like where it's like you are technically married to someone, but you're not married to them. But you I don't know. I can't recall. You take it for now, and I'll try to search it.
Anyways, over the last couple of years, from what I've noticed, from what I see, transgendered people are coming out, and that is fucking awesome in my books. I think if you experience body dysmorphia, this is an amazing opportunity, a great time. There's a lot less stigma now than there is back then. I don't think you would have people like Caitlyn Jenner, someone who's like, to me, in my memory, when I think about it, is like one of the very first openly. And there was a lot of, don't get me wrong, when that happened, there was a lot of fucking stigma. Like, holy fuck, what the fuck? She was a man for like 50 years. Why the fuck is she going to transition? Yeah.
Won all those medals and stuff.
Yeah, she. Sorry, no pronouncing here. Misgendering. She was an Olympic athlete for blah blah blah. Her name was Bruce. All this shit. A lot of bullshit around that. From then till now, I feel there's been so much progress, but there's still a long ways to go where people do see stuff. And it's funny. Me and Vic were talking about it, and I was explaining to him. I don't care about sports. I don't care about sports like NFL and NBA, NHL. I do understand when people discuss the sanctity of competition and competitiveness, and everybody having fair ground and no unfair advantages and stuff like that. I understand the concept. My problem when this gets brought up is that it gets brought up for other reasons. The people that are bringing up Lea Thomas right now aren't people that care about competitive women's swimming. They don't give a shit. They didn't give a shit about it 2 weeks ago. They don't give a shit about it now. They give a shit that a trans woman won competition because they don't believe that trans women should exist. They fucking hate trans people. And I think that's fucking disgusting. if you were year round talking about women's sport and you brought up Lea Thomas, cool. All right, makes sense. It's your line of work. It's something you care about. But you didn't give a shit. Nobody knew who the fuck Lea Thomas was 2-3 weeks ago. I didn't even know her name until a few minutes ago. So
It's true.
So it's not that I don't care about this story. I do. But I don't care about it in the same way like, oh, the sanctity of whatever. If you ask me, especially because it was a 2.5 lead, it's not like Lea Thomas.
Really? So it wasn't like a landslide.
No, it wasn't
of
like
oh
10,
they
20
no
minutes.
okay. So it was.
Let me
barely...
double check, but it was. I think they said it was a 2.5. Let me see.
Then that just like kind of like
powered home a full 2.5 ahead.
That's bullshit. Then I mean, come on. No offense here with how I'm going to say, but the other naturally born female was right behind her for a second. So clearly she was able to keep up with Lea Thompson for within a second.
Yeah, a second and a half.
If Lea Thompson just like stuttered or struggled for a quick second,
this
either
wasn't
tie or surpass.
This wasn't like fully blown out of the fucking water. Like, it's just disgusting. Like I said, I think people are way blowing this shit out of proportion. But I know for a fact, looking at the political landscape, this is what we're going to be seeing over the next couple. I say 2-3 more years, maybe. Maybe up until the next election, and depending on who wins, who runs, whatever, depending if it's a Democrat or Republican, I'm not saying Trump, but whoever wins the next one, I don't think Biden's going to go back in.
I don't think.
I don't think so. But
I'm not saying I disagree with him as a president or a politician, but dude, you're a little too old. He's not
only just that, but he's a very by the books Democrat, and I consider myself way more left than that. I consider myself more progressive. I like to think of myself as like a socialist, or at least a social Democrat, sock dem.
So you'd probably approve more Sanders?
Fuck yeah, Sanders.
I did like his views. I don't say myself as a socialist, and I don't think he even.
Oh yeah, he considers himself like social Democrat.
Okay, well, I still really enjoyed a bit of his views, his political views. I was like, yeah, a lot of those things I would have loved for you to do, and I can't really think of any that I disagreed with.
Yeah,
I think he was doing. Wasn't he doing? Or was it the Asian fella?
Oh,
I forgot his name.
Shit. Yang.
Yeah, Yang. One of them, or maybe both of them, were saying how they wanted to at least give a minimum wage, a basic source of income.
Yeah,
$500 or some shit like that.
It's called UBI, I think.
UBI,
Universal Basic Income. Yeah.
And then there was so you know how, real quick,
that's
off topic. Apparently, we do that a lot.
What?
Well, I actually get feedback from our viewers, the two of them, and they're like, "Yo, you jump around a lot," and I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, you never stay to one topic," and I'm like, "I'm not supposed to. I try to talk about everything. How me and my cousin talk. I guess that's what we do, and I feel like other people do that. I'm not going to talk about Lea Thompson for an hour. I'm going to jump around, but apparently we do that a lot. We just went from Lea Thompson to Biden to Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Yeah, you jump around way too much, and it's hard to keep up." And I'm like, "What are you keeping up with? Just hear me out." Jay, talking to you, Alexis, if you're watching, it don't matter.
I mean, we could say, "Hey, next topic," but I mean, this is just how discussions progress. Like, I mean, especially when we're talking about stuff like that. I guess if we want to double back and finish off on the women transgendered topic in competitive sports, this is how I feel. This is going to be something that's going to outrage a lot of people over the next coming years, but I think it's going to get more and more common, and I think we should accept that rather we have to expand restrictions, or we have to set. I think it's fucking silly. I don't think Lea Thomas had such a crazy fucking ridiculous. Like, there's 6'1" women. Okay, there is.
Not sure I don't think the other height of the other women were, but I'm sure
they looked on the shorter end. But still, it's like I don't think Lea Thomas had like a crazy ridiculous jump start on them.
Oh, I do. Haha.
Cool. Not jump start. No super crazy advantage over them. I think. At least my understanding of these events is that they test for testosterone in the women's side of things. They test for testosterone levels. She probably would have had to been within a certain age, within a certain weight. So outside of height and something that we were talking about earlier. Like in basketball, like they don't have like a height limit or anything like that. So I think the women's side of shit, there's a lot more restrictions. And Lea Thompson one, to me, fair and square. I don't know how long she's been transitioning for. Maybe that does play a part of it. But like I said, they definitely would have tested for all of those things. And I don't think she had a fair unfair advantage.
You know what's funny? A few things here. One is with gender, there's always a revolving door, and if you were to just flip that and say that a transitioning man, a woman that is now a male, won a boxing thing against a naturally born male or a swimming thing, I think people would praise her. I don't think it'll be an outrage like, oh, I can't believe this transitioning male beat this other male. This is an outrage. I think they'll be like, can you believe this happened?
Yeah.
Which is really, it's for some reason on the opposite end. It's no, everyone sees it as that's not, so I think everyone has a false idea in their head as to how the transitioning works. And no offense, if this coworker were to ever come over here and see this shit, which they don't, because I don't promote this at work ever. But I have a coworker who, just on the strict beliefs or understanding that this is a male, or Lea Thompson used to be a male, and I think possibly, because I don't know, I'm not going to Google it, and I don't know if she ever Googled it, or if it's known if they still have a penis. But she thinks just because this person has a male part, they have that natural strength over women, speed over women, agility and height, that's why they won. And I don't think they understand fully how it works to where, or what you were saying, estrogen blockers, or no, hormone blockers, so that your body stops producing that natural strength and agility. And then you also take estrogen, which actually not deteriorates, but it lessens your muscle. And it, increases, if you take it for a lengthy amount of time, it will increase your hips. It'll grow out your hips, and it will increase your breast and put more fat towards your breast, and it will change your facial features, and everything changes. This is like with 2 or 3 years, because I saw a YouTube video of someone doing I actually know a friend who actually is a transitioning male.
Yeah.
Used to be female, transitioned to male. When I saw them and I trained him, I'm training a dude. But there was something off about him. But I'm like, probably just because they're like some sort of Hispanic, Filipino, I don't know, Hawaiian in them. I don't know. But I just thought, whatever. It wasn't until Alexis found out that they actually were a transitioning male that I was like, that's it. That's what it is. Which is weird because we went to the bathroom together, not together, but like we went into the men's restroom and they went to the stall, and I'm like, probably just penis shy. I don't know. But it turns out that's what it was, is they were a woman, they had to pee that way. But I found it interesting. Everything changes about the person. So Lea Thompson going into this tournament or championship or whatever, they did not go in there having the full agility. Basically, it would have been a stronger, faster person if there was no hormone blocker or estrogen that they were taking.
Yeah. It
would have been a natural male who was 6'1", who has natural muscle and just...
I think people have this like you said, misconception. But what I think
Stigma, probably.
I think what people imagine is like, let's say me and you transitioned, and we went in there, and they think that we would still fucking demolish them. Look at us.
Well, yeah, if we went in there in our current state, probably would not win.
Yeah, no.
They would beat us.
Yeah, you have to... I don't know why people fucking don't think about it. They think that, you have to think, these are professionally trained athletes. This is their job. Yeah. This is something that they do. They compete at a whole nother fucking
level. What do they
level.
swim, 50 yards or something?
500.
Oh my god,
500 meters.
Oh.
So it's 250...
that's a long fucking way to swim, and they are training for this.
Oh, 500? No, 500 yard.
500 yard. Okay, that's what I figured. Okay, they're training for this, and they're training at the same.
Lea Thompson, which I don't know the history of Lea Thomas. If Lea Thomas was already like a trained athlete prior to transitioning, I would assume so. You don't just naturally. You don't say
transition and then say I'm gonna be an athlete
exactly.
At 20.
So I'm sure Lea Thomas was already a trained athlete, but you have to understand when someone like what Vic was saying earlier, when you're taking hormone blockers and when you're taking estrogen, you still have to keep it up. Lea Thomas probably trained her fucking ass off and won by a second and a half.
It's actually more difficult if you would imagine, because your body is
changing, literally fucking changing.
But you're still trying to keep certain physical attributes, not your male attributes, but you're trying to keep that speed and muscle and agility.
Yeah.
While your body is trying to expand hips, grow. That must be difficult. Yeah. It must be different. And I think there must be some sort of a some sort of psychological effect, or like some side effect, like how some Xanax, any kind of codone would kind of give you like anger issues. I would assume these hormone blockers and estrogen, I can't say hormones right away off the bat, it must give you some sort of side effect. But regardless, I don't want to say they did it under, well, yeah, they did it. They're training and they're winning. Sorry, she's winning under different circumstances.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty much equal within a second.
Yeah.
Now, I could understand 20 seconds, a minute. It's like, yo, that's probably not cool. Yeah. And maybe the height is a different thing. Maybe they touched the wall with that extra length.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could have been that. But to be on...
Yeah, but they wouldn't have said shit if Lea Thompson was a natural-born 6'1" woman. No. This wouldn't even be a fucking topic, period.
And like you said, it's only in people's mouths because certain people in the news and journalism decided, you know what? Whether they hate trans or not, it's going to be a spicy topic.
I think right now, especially because the thing is that, I don't know if people don't look into this shit, I'm not here every single day reading scientific journals, but every once in a while I like to see how things change. And things have changed. And pretty much across the board, biologists have said, like, our understanding of gender and sex has dramatically shifted over the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
And like now, I mean, I almost guarantee if you walk up to anybody, ask them how many genders is there, almost everybody's going to say 2. And not even scientists agree with that anymore. There's at least 3.
At least 3. There's that.
Because there's the intersex. Yeah. Kind of like, I don't know what the term would be. I know intersex is the proper term, I guess, for viewers. And again, trigger warning, if this is like something that kind of triggers you, it would be something similar to like a hermaphrodite.
Okay, having both genitalia.
Yeah, so shit like that happens.
Now here's the thing that me and Alex are talking about. So I guess we're going to stay on the subject for a while, or probably the whole length of it.
Yeah.
So sorry to anyone. Maybe at the last 10 seconds we'll talk about Elden Ring. But I didn't want to talk about it because I can't even play it.
Anyways.
If it was on the Switch. So we were talking about the restroom situation. We were talking about how do you... I'm going to transition to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I identify as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
The second I take my first hormone blocker and my first estrogen pill,
mm-hmm.
I want to start identifying as a woman.
Okay.
I want to go into the woman's bathroom.
Okay.
Is that cool?
That's good.
Now, here's the thing. I was telling her, and it's kind of strange, but I think that, and this is the only thing where I think it's kind of... Obviously, if I go in there with my beard and my jeans and I look like a dude just chilling with my boots,
mm-hmm.
it's going to be off. And I feel like I was telling her, I think you don't have to go ahead and win the minds of the government or the state or your city's council. You got to win the minds of the people in the restroom, which is strange. Obviously, if I were to go in there identifying as a woman, but there's no one in the restroom, I can go in the woman's restroom, no issue. I can pee, I can shit, I can leave, no one's going to know.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go in there as a male,
mm-hmm.
and there's a mom and her daughter,
mm-hmm.
and the mom screams, "What the hell are you doing in here?" Clearly, it's hard for me to say, well, I'm a woman. Because let's say 3 more girls come out of the stalls. Yo, what are you doing in here, dude? Oh, I just started identifying as one.
Yeah.
I feel like somehow you have to... It's weird, but while you're transitioning, until you have the body, until you have the hair, until you shave the beard, and you... Because you might feel as feminine as any woman, the other women do not accept you yet. They don't. Now, obviously, let's say... And I can see you got something on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, of course.
Let's say you want to... I feel like you got to win their minds. Because it's not easy to just be like, I'm a woman, so I'm going to come in here. Why are you guys oppressing me? Because at the moment, they're kind of frightened.
Yeah.
They're frightened a little bit. So it's like, maybe you should wait. You might identify as a woman. Doesn't mean that everyone's going to receive you as one. You clearly maybe look like one. You have the tone, the voice, deep. Go into the men's restroom until you feel
mm-hmm.
like you can go into a place and probably give someone a second look, and they're like, yo.
Yeah, it's there's a term for that. I think it's called passing, where you're like, you pass as a woman. So I get what you mean, and I understand. The thing is that, like, me, I have actually one of my real close friends is a trans man, trans male. Yeah. So he transitioned. He was, born as a female, and now has transitioned into a man. And nowadays he passes for sure. Yeah, full beard. His voice got a lot deeper, so he passes. I'm sure he uses the men's restroom, but I remember in his early stages when he was starting to transition, and what came with that. And the thing is that I think that people apply this fucking really bad sense of logic to trans people, where they think like it's, oh, 1 week they're a man, and then the next week they're like, you know what? Now I'm going to be a woman. Yeah. The thing is that if you ever talk to somebody who does decide to go through with transitioning, this is years in the making, years and years and years of in their mind. Body dysmorphia, the fucking pressure that comes along with it, the stigma that like any trans person who's listening to this will know what I'm talking about. The stigma that you get from transitioning, whether it be your friends, your family, your peers, your coworkers, is so fucking devastating, especially when they're not accepting. And the thing is that it even expands outside of that. Like you were saying, the people in the restroom, the people at the stores you go to, your place of business, or whether you work for somebody, you're employed or your employee or whatever. You're going to get stigma from all of those. Yeah. But people still transition, not because they're, it's like the flavor of the month for them. Yeah. It's something that they legitimately battle within themselves. Something where they do not feel right. They know something is wrong and they have to do it because, and it's been proven time and time again, this saves people's lives. People who transition, they transition because it literally saves them. There's a very, very high rate of suicide within the transgender community because a lot of these people, whether it's because of their parents or because of their peers, decide not to transition for whatever reason that they don't, but they still live with the dysmorphia that comes along with it. So with me, the way that I feel about that is that because the stigma that comes along with like the bathroom situation and the people, they assume it's men that want to go into women's bathrooms and be fucking perverts and be disgusting. Like they're fucking crawling underneath. Like any other person does that. Like women do that. Like, what, you think normal women are the ones going around peeking into other people's stalls and shit like that? No. Somebody who decides to transition. Let's say you've been battling with the fucking all those feelings for years. You decide to transition. You still have to do a little bit of work, but you transition. I think the shame that you would feel being seen at all, period, is more than enough for you to just be like, I want to get the fuck in and get the fuck out. I don't want to see anybody, and I sure shit don't want to see anybody else. And most importantly, I don't want anybody to see me when I'm still battling with my own emotions that comes with transitioning. Your body doesn't feel right. You look in the mirror and you're like, I don't know who the fuck that person is. It's not me.
A lot of them probably even wait and hold it until they can get home, until they're more into a secure place.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably a lot of what happens. And honestly, easiest solution, you make non-gendered bathrooms. I know
that's what we said. We said just put more unisex restrooms all over
and
the
then
place.
That's it. That's done. That should be the end of that. But I really don't. I think fucking shame on you if you're a person at all. Honestly, I almost want to say doubly so if you're a parent. I cannot imagine what it's like to look at another human being while you have your child next to you and think, wow, disgusting piece of shit. When it's literally someone who just needs to use the bathroom like everybody else does. Yeah. I don't give a fuck who comes into a bathroom. If I'm a man and I walk into a restroom and I see somebody who's not passing,
now there's that thing. Them going that's the revolving door. Obviously, if it's a woman who's transitioning into a male, going into the men's restroom, all of us would not give a shit.
Yeah,
at all.
Nope.
But for some reason, I guess because with women, they I'm gonna skip some of this because I don't want to bring up the R word, but there's this primal sense of what men are capable of, and obviously what some of them just want to do because they're evil bastards.
Yeah.
And what sucks is for some reason they attach that with, well, that's why you're doing this. That's why you're doing it. And it's weird to think you're dressing in a skirt and you have pigtails. Pigtails?
Pigtails.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right because the pigtail twirls. Ponytails?
Ponytails are the ones in the back.
But the pigtails
are the two.
Why do we do that? Pigtails don't have two tails. Pigs. Anyways, I just realized that doesn't make sense. That's why I'm like, did I say that right?
Yeah, no. Anyways, twin tails. I guess you can call them
twin tails. Yeah,
I think people call it. Go back. We don't want to do that thing where they accuse us of.
Well, shit. Where was I? That really caught me off. I was saying how
if you're dressing a skirt.
Well, obviously you don't have malintention, and obviously not everyone's gonna know. But you can't be like, you know what? I feel like doing someone dirty, so I'm gonna dress up in this getup. And just walk past many people and go into this one room and do something. Because obviously, and it's also not that much of a big... if it's midnight in a park restroom, I get it. But if it's like 10 a.m. in a Walmart, you know? Yeah.
And you want to know what? Funny enough, because I don't know how much longer we have on this, but funny enough, I'm actually going to transition to another topic.
We are now ending one segment and going to the next.
There you go. Funny enough, bouncing off of that, and it's something I've talked to with Erica a lot. I've talked to a few people a lot. Funny enough, I think a lot of that has to do with toxic masculinity. I'm sure anybody who's existed has heard that term. And most of us, we think about the big fucking macho dudes who are like, I love guns and bacon and fucking...
Southern Americans.
Yeah. So that's what people imagine when they talk about toxic masculinity. But when I hear something like that, what we were just explaining, the like, oh, you know... a guy's coming into a woman, or a guy, aka a transitioning woman, comes into a woman's bathroom. What is their intentions, right? That is also toxic masculinity. You're
implanting that male, primal
because
attribute
the thing
to
is,
this one person just because of what they used to be or what they're trying to leave.
Yeah, exactly. I think, it's a big negative connotation that is applied to men in that sense. Now, just for starters, I'm not like a men's right activist or anything like that. Nah. Like, I don't believe that men are oppressed in that same way or whatever, or I need to fight for any rights for myself.
I haven't seen a lot. I don't want to get off of this, but I haven't seen a lot of TikToks come up where it's like...
men's right?
It was more like a bunch of a girl saying, oh, no one... luckily, I have so many people to talk to because I feel sad about this or that. And have someone to talk to. And then the stitch with a bunch of dudes saying, I don't. You have someone to talk to? I don't. And another guy's like, oh yeah, I got no one to talk to. No one cares about what I had to say.
Yeah. And that is toxic masculinity. It's funny, I have a book. Funny, I don't have it here. Very good book. Highly recommend. I haven't finished it quite yet, but so far so good. It's by a famous black feminist author. Her name is Bell Hooks. It's called...
sounds like a very familiar name.
She's pretty influential as far as like feminist movement goes and this. I
think Joey has told me about this book.
I swear.
Did she recently die?
I think she passed away a few years ago. I think so. Anyways, I think it's called The Will to Change. Very good book, and pretty much exclusively tackles toxic masculinity and all the connotations that are assigned to men and why men feel the way that they do, and they feel lonely or they feel angry, and a lot of that has to do with not just men, because men definitely perpetrate this a lot too, but women perpetrate it just as bad. They perpetrate that, like men are predators, men are naturally inherently violent, and
you know what's funny is that's something that could be true in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, I would say 60s, but at some point it stopped becoming true. I feel
being violent, or you mean
being naturally? I don't know. I feel like obviously back then in the days in the 30s and 40s, where guys would just slap their wife around and such. Mm-hmm. Men were more violent back then. Things were more. I'm a man, you're a woman. Clean the house, and I'm gonna work.
Oh yeah, that has to do with societal gender norms.
Yeah, and well, now that's not so much the same. That's not really how it is nowadays. And continue with what you were saying.
Anyways, as I was saying, a lot of those connotations get assigned to men. And that's why men feel like that. Because people, regardless if it's your mom or your dad, your uncles, your aunts, your peers around you, that is assigned to men naturally. It's hopefully within the next, couple decades, it's going to take a lot of work to change the way that the landscape is when it comes to societal gender norms and shit like that. But a lot of that is something that's been long withstanding throughout history. The way that men are supposed to be. But it is something that is prescribed to men. It's forced onto men. You don't get a choice if men or if a woman is going to see you in that light. Really, at the end of the day, the only thing you can do is obviously try to line your attitude and try not to take any negative feelings you get from being in situations like that, and not let it permeate, I think is the word. I don't know if I use that word right. But let it go through and affect all of your ways of life. You kind of have to shrug those things off, especially in this day and age. It's not easy. I think in time that shit will change, but I think that we're getting to a point where, as society, not just men, not just women, not just parents, but as people, we have to realize that you can't do that to a whole gender. It's kind of fucked up. You know, you have to realize that men, just as much as women, go through all the same feelings that every other person goes through
life.
Throughout life.
Shit. I got that. You got that.
Men get sad, they get depressed, they get happy, they fall in love. Like people go through that. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is that as a society, it's been way too long in the making. We're finally realizing that. It's kind of weird thinking about it, especially when I think about my life. Like, I grew up with a lot of women in my life.
Likewise.
And I feel like, thankfully, I got very lucky. And my mom and my sisters weren't like very inherently like, oh,
be a man.
You have to be a man. You can't show your feelings, blah, blah, blah. My dad was like that with me. Like, oh, you got to man up. You got to be a tough guy and blah, 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 and all that shit. Fuck that guy. But anyways, thankfully, I had a real strong support system, so I can talk about these things very openly and honestly, and not feel like I'm less of a man, or that I'm taking away from my value as a man through that. It's in due time, but it is a thing that as society we're starting to work out within the Western world. I don't know. I can't speak.
What sucks is there's don't matter how far we get. What sucks is the huge amounts of places in the world, other countries, they'll never be like that.
I mean, in due time, hopefully that's the end goal is to get to that point where, as society as a whole,
that's what I don't like about it, because it's mainly the right who are like really anti-transgenders, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what sucks is that group of people exists. If there is just like no hate on how you want to be and how you want to feel, who you want to be and how you want to show yourself, if no one cared, don't want to sound cheesy, but I feel like the world would be much a better place. Yeah. If I didn't have coworkers that were like, no, this should not happen because that's a dude and that's a girl. You know, no, he should not wear that because he's supposed to wear jeans, not a skirt and fishnets or something like that.
Yeah, I think that kind of just boils down to information being so easily accessible, and a good chunk of it being misinformation. People not understanding how transitioning works or gender norms.
And what's funny, like you said, this person was someone who, I think they grew up in, I don't want to say too much, but, because I don't want to say, because that really isolates who this is. Yeah. And they probably know if they were to find it, but I don't think they ever will. And, but they grew up in a very Christian environment.
Yeah.
And obviously religion. And then religion has a huge thing with this as well. You're a transgender, clearly you're not going to heaven. I'm not saying that. That's what they think.
Yeah, I know that's
what you're gay? Nah, you poke it in the butt, you're not going to heaven, bro.
Yeah.
And it really sucks.
And I know this might be surprising to some of the people that I know, like I've seen in person that also listen to this. I consider myself not like the best Christian ever, but I, believe. And, and it's funny, I always... When I think about this, I always think about the conversation me and you had. I don't know if you remember that.
Let's see.
We were having a discussion about this stuff, and it was funny. I think we were in the garage back when we worked together, and we had a conversation about how you're supposed to like practice and this and that. And it's funny because I remember you saying it's like a formula. You know, it's like mixing paint. Like you have to do things a certain way. And me, the way that I've been and the way that I've grown up and the people that I've met and the way that I see
I
things.
said that?
Yes, you did.
What an asshole view.
Yeah. We got into a decently big argument about it,
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't recall this.
Yeah. Because I forgot exactly what was going on, but yeah, you're like, it has to be by the book.
I said that?
You did, yeah.
What a fucking asshole. Well,
anyways,
I've changed.
So people, a lot of Christians, especially conservatives, feel that way too. The way that I see it and the way that I was raised and the way that I view the world, especially, maybe I'm just a really bad Christian, so maybe I'm doing it wrong. But I think you should be doing right by people and do the just things in the world. Obviously, what's right and wrong is also where you see the world and where you whatever. But I think if you treat people the way that you want to be treated and you respect people regardless of their decisions, I don't know if I've got it right. Fucking maybe some dude fucking 10,000 years ago fucking got it right. And he was the one who actually believed in the real God, whatever it, they, she, it, whatever he might be. But the way that I see it is I just want to be a good person and not try to step on anybody's toes or disrespect anybody. Yeah. I'm just trying to get through by my life and the way that I see things. I just don't see... I don't see how whatever I believe in should affect anybody else's belief. Even if I don't agree with it, I just won't do it myself. But you do you. You live your life.
This is why my fiance hates religion. Because she says that religion is literally a key point into why there's so many wars, so many territorial border divisions, and why it's because of religion. Why people can't be who they want to be and how they want to be. It's because of religion. And she said that's why it's fucking stupid. You know, many people have died because of religion. It's really weird that I said that because I know my dad told me this one thing, which I feel like I've believed for a while, so maybe he told me that after I spoke to you. I have no idea. I can't recall this call. I remember you saying, I remember he's just saying like, oh, it's like a formula. It's like a formula for paint. You had to put this much of this and this much of that. Really?
You said
this wasn't my dad?
No, this was you for sure.
That's so weird.
Anyways.
Well, so if I did say that, forgive me. That was a really...
It's cool.
That was a bigot way to think. No, to me, the way I see religion, and I think my dad told me this one time, or maybe it was somewhat, I read between the lines, but he basically said, in the end, maybe he said it, I can't recall. The way I believe it now is whatever you do believe, because obviously I am also like you, I do identify as a Christian, you know, and people always say that thing, we're like, oh, you say you're a Christian, yet, you know, you watch porn. You are having unmarital sex. You probably have gambled a few times. You just judged me right now. So what kind of Christian are you? And it's like, well, from what I understand, from the way I take Christianity, it's strictly between you and your deity.
Yeah.
Which would be God, obviously. It's just between you two.
Yeah.
No one else comes into that formula. It's just me and you. I can't, and I think my dad told me this one time when I was telling him that Alexis is a non-believer. And I'm like, and I did tell him, I said, how can I, and if Alexis, you're listening to this, I was thinking about this for a bit, because when I had the idea, so I lied to my boss, and I told her to try to hire Alexis. I probably told you this. I said, hey, it'd be cool if you can hire my fiance, and maybe some of your religious beliefs could come off of you and rub off on her. And I was trying to make it so that like maybe my boss would be turned on with the idea of I'm going to hire Alexis so that I can try to, you know, transition her or convert her or whatever.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was also thinking, how would I, if I ever wanted to, try to convert Alexis into Christianity? Because obviously, literally in the Bible, and this is why I say it's like, you know, you're not supposed to be married to someone
who doesn't believe. You're supposed to convert pretty much. You're like, that is like one of the jobs that
this
comes
is
with
actually the only time where it's okay to, if her and I were actually married under God, this is the only time where it's okay for me to leave her and not feel guilty.
Yeah.
It said, hey, if she's a non-believer, go, you know, it's cool. God's cool with it. You can go ahead and leave her. It's you did matrimony and you said your vows under God. That's cool. Go ahead and leave. She's a non-believer. But I did think, how can I convert her? And my dad basically told me one time, he said, you're not supposed to. And I was like, what? And he's like, you're not supposed to. Like, yeah, you love her and all that, but if she decides not to believe, and if you believe that there's a heaven and a hell, well, guess what? She's going to hell, and you can't really do much about it. And I'm like, well, what if Mom? And he's like, Yeah, your mom will go to hell too. He's like, if your mom decided, you know what, I don't believe in God anymore. I'm not a Christian. I am an atheist, or anything like that. He's like, maybe for a bit I'll try, but in the end I know that I just got to look out for myself, because there's no way that I can protest with God when I see him. Hey, please take her too. No, because it's all about how it is with her and God and how it is with me and God. It's all different.
Yeah.
So he says, don't try to convert her. And if you want to, try. Just read the Bible here and there. Talk to her a little bit about it. But don't try, because there's no point in trying. Mm-hmm. If she doesn't want to, she won't. And in the end, if, let's say, you did fully convert her, you passed away, 100% she's going to be like, fuck God. He took you from me, so I don't believe anymore. And now she's not going to heaven. So don't try to convert someone, but then it's weird because also in the Bible says to do that.
Yeah, it sucks. I know this is hypocritical to me to say, because that's how I feel about a lot of people on the right. They take portions of the Bible and they nitpick and they say this is the way it has to be, and then they use that as their relief in their political beliefs. You
seen that video of Martin Sheen?
No.
From some show he did, The West Wing or The Right Wing or some shit?
No.
Martin Sheen and that dude, forgot his name, they were in this political show. You know who Martin Sheen is?
Fucking, what's his name? His dad, right?
Charlie Sheen's dad?
Yeah.
He's the voice of the Illusion Man?
Yeah, he was in Apocalypse Now. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
So he was also in this movie, on a joke. There is a scene where he's like, I don't know what kind of political person he is, but some reporter says, hey, in the Bible it says such and such and such, and your brother's doing this thing, so what the hell? And he responded to her with, it also says, the Bible also says, that if my brother were to die, I should be taking his wife. Is that cool? Also, it says that, I can go ahead and sell my daughter for some cows for sacrifice. Is that cool? And they were going back and forth. And it's just a weird thing how a lot of people, because the Bible is a really complicated book.
Oh, yeah.
It is so contradicting.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard to narrow down how it is. But a lot of people take what they want. Like the far right. Oh, you are gay?
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to heaven. This is a religious country.
Yeah, this is the exact fucking quote.
In God we trust. He says, Sodom and Gomorrah, all that shit. It's not cool. He nuked their asses. Yeah, but there's also a lot of other things. Like, hey, don't work on a Sunday if you're doing the whole Old Testament thing. Mm-hmm. Or, I can't recall much right now. I have not read the Bible in so long. But there's a lot of shit where they
lost my fucking Bible.
They just... well, you'll find it. Just pray. They always pick and choose, and
I mean, in the sense, like, that's why I kind of feel bad, because I guess I've picked and choose out of the Bible. Like, to me, it's just like, treat others the way that you want to be treated. That's like the one thing that I've taken.
That's your golden rule.
That's my thing. Maybe I get it wrong. Whatever the fuck happens, if I fucking burn for the rest of eternity. I mean,
it also says turn the other cheek, yet everyone seeks revenge.
Yeah.
They try to, destroy one's career because, you're wrong with me, I'm going to try to get you fired.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
It's complicated when it comes to religion. The way that like I said, the way that I see it, the way that I've treated it, and the way that I've thought about it, especially, like I said, I won't deep dive into it.
Of course.
I just want to do my own thing, be a good person, try not to judge other people too much. I know I still do it because I'm human, and that's just what we do. I can't always be perfect all the time. I'm just trying to be as good as I can to others, and go about my life and live righteously, I guess. But in that sense, that's where I deviate from a lot of other people that are religious, are Christian, because I just don't see where. I mean, if you read the Bible, you know that God is very wrathful. Like, he just fucking floods.
He flooded the whole fucking pie.
He does a bunch of shit like that. But I just feel that it's not up to me. At the end of the day, however things play out, I just try to change the things that I have control over, and then let everything else be up to whatever force that you decree it is. Whether it's God, or it's fate, it's destiny, it's random as shit, it's chaos, whatever you believe. And I don't judge anybody, because at the end of the day, I could be fucking wrong. Fucking die, go up, and fucking see Buddha. Who knows?
Also, the people that say that shit where you shouldn't be doing this or that, and the Bible says don't judge.
Yeah.
And that's literally the first thing they do. You're gay? I'm sorry. The Bible says no, so I'm going to hate on you. It's like, no, You're judging that person. So if you're the most beloved Christian towards God and shit, and he favored you, the second you judge that dude, God forbid you get struck by lightning, guess what? You ain't going to heaven. You just judge somebody.
I mean, there's the not wearing fabrics of two different materials. There's so much weird shit within the Bible. So it's like, what the fuck? I can't follow all this shit, or else I'd be living out in the fucking woods with no electricity and fucking not doing anything. If you want to be the best Christian, go live in the boonies. Live off of nature and shit. And even then, what is it? You can't eat poultry? I think it's...
And then it's the whole thing where like it splits between Christianity and Judaism. Yeah. That's also... And then there's Catholicism. It's all just... And then there's obviously multiple religions. So many. There's some under, Jesus, God, and Abraham and all that stuff. But then you also have Buddhism. And you have... I honestly can't think of any more besides Buddhism. There's a lot more, though. I know there's like hundreds.
I mean, if you want to talk about, like, you're on old school, there's fucking... man, imagine we croak and we see Odin. That'd be weird.
Yeah, there's Greek mythology, there's Norse mythology, there's Egyptian gods. So it's like, okay, well, let's just forget about the Holy Bible God. There's so many other ones. So, Republicans, do you even have the right one? Who knows? You might die, and you might be in front of what's the dog's name? I don't know the Egyptian. I know some Egyptian stuff, but anyways,
okay. So as I was saying. I was watching the clip with Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais is very, very strictly atheist. Yeah. And it's funny because I think he was talking to Stephen Colbert. Okay, yeah. And he's Christian. Yeah. Stephen Colbert, he explained to Colbert, he's like, let's say there's 4,000 gods, and you believe in one, I only believe in one less than you. So you're denying all the rest, the other 3,999.
Who's saying this?
Gervais is saying this to Colbert.
Okay.
So he's explained to him, like, I only believe one less God than you, but there's so many, and how do you know that you have it right? For sure. You don't. It's all up to faith and, belief, Yeah. So, yeah, maybe I got it wrong. That's the reason why maybe I'm just a really fucking bad Christian in that sense. I believe that there is a higher power in that sense. Like, it's just it's crazy when you think about it and you look at the world and you see where we've come, where we're potentially going to be going. And yes, there's a lot of bad shit. There's so much bad shit in the world, and we're very, very, very lucky, especially being American. Yeah. But we're lucky to be alive and to see the things that we have. Like, I mean, I don't have a kid yet, but I can only imagine how you feel when you look at Geralt and you see, the miracle that is this little thing and how it's going to play out. Eventually he's going to be in school. Yeah. He's going to have hobbies and this and that. You basically come from nothing. Like, he hasn't really developed a personality yet, but I know at some point he will. He's going to grow up. Maybe he's going to do this shit. And he's going to have one of his cousins. I mean, I guess one of your nieces, because I ain't got anything yet for you. But, eventually, he's going to be sitting down discussing rather all the same shit, regardless. I mean, who knows? Maybe he does become conservative. That'd be weird as shit. They'd be like, fucking hate you little shit. No, but it's crazy. To me, it feels weird to think that all of this is random as hell. Like, just absolute pure chance that we happen to live where we live, when we live. I mean, it could be. It literally could be, and that's why a lot of people are atheists or they believe in other shit. Yeah. It's strange to me, and like I said, I most likely got it wrong. I haven't been right about a lot of shit. So, I probably got it wrong, but I feel that it gives me a little bit of comfort, and I think that's what it boils down at the end of the day. Is people just want to believe in something. I would like to hope that there's something else after all this bullshit. Yeah, because that's why I don't understand people are like, no, I like the idea better that after this it's just blank, eternal darkness, consciousness stops, and I'm just done. And it's like, that's cool, but then like, I don't know. As a person, you just gotta want more, a little more. You want to hope that after all this crap, some people don't. Some people really see the world as sad, as shit. They think this is hell, and they don't want to be here. There's taxes, there's gas prices, and more. Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, that's just how I feel. I think I'm just hoping, as society, like, I'm still really young when it comes to things, and I'm hoping I can see things get better. for everybody. I like at the end of the day, I don't want much. I'm not one of those like I want a mansion and a Lamborghini and this and that. I just want to be able to get by. I know things are fucked.
Just be more
right now.
comfortable than how you are now.
Yeah, exactly. So
Likewise.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's probably my strongest belief is that
Likewise.
I think like seeing the world the way that it's changed so much in like 20 years, like I really have a good feeling that we're gonna make real progress and things will change for the better. After that, who knows? But that is my strongest belief out of everything.
Likewise. But hey, that's just a theory, a biased theory. I'm sorry to say that. All right, guys. See you all later. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to close it out with that.
Yep.
Everyone have a great day. And go Ukraine. Yeah.